fish report. Hanging at the fish report. Hanging at the fish report. Hanging at the fish report. For your latest news in high school sports, tune in to the fish report. Don't need no bed, don't need no pull when you tune in to the fish report. Hanging at the fish report. Hanging at the fish report. You got Craig and TK and Heather D tuned in at the fish report.
Coming to you live from Studio F in Russia, Ohio. It's the Fish Report Live Show with your hosts, Craig Fissinger and Ken Francis.
Welcome, everyone, to another edition of Fish Report Live. Do not adjust your knobs on the video. I'm Ken. This is Covey sitting next to me. In the sound room tonight, we've got TK and Heavy D, and out in Studio R, we've got Kearns. Off tonight is Craig, but filling in very admirably for him tonight will be Covey. And we got a big show for you tonight. Right, Covey?
Yes, we do. We have a big interview tonight with probably the best player in the SCL and maybe all of Division III, Wyatt Bensman from the Anna Rockets tonight. Very excited to talk to him. And it was my preseason vote for SCL Player of the Year. Looking forward to talking to him.
Well, that's right. We're going to talk to Wyatt as well as cover all of the Shelby County League boys and girls basketball, the standings tonight. We're going to review some of the games that happened previously in the week and some of the big games that we've got coming up this week. But before we get to the rest of our show, let's first start with our poll question tonight for our viewers out there. Which of these four Shelby County League boys basketball players do you feel is the first half of the season player of the year? Is it Wyatt Bensman from Anna, Dylan Braun from Fort Loramie, Jack Daypore from Russia, or Tyler Siegel from Fort Loramie? We'll go back to the sound room later in the evening and listen, see what our viewers had to say and see who they're voting for tonight for SCL Player of the Year.
All right, Ken, those are all four very good options. But right now we're going to be switching gears to girls basketball. Very eventful week in girls basketball where the Loramie girls established themselves as the top team in the league right now, beating Russia 29-23. Russia falls with their first league loss. The second round of county games will be starting tomorrow night, and it's headlined by Russia and Houston and Anna and Fort Loramie. And for more of that, we're going to go out to Studio R and talk with Kearns. How we doing out there, Daniel?
I'm doing good out here. So, the game Russia at Houston, I think that's definitely going to be a different game than how it played out in the first half of the season. I think Russia played pretty well. I think they put up maybe 60 points on them, won by 30 or so. But Houston just got two impressive wins. They won 51-50 over Lehman, and then they got a big SCAL win over Jackson. They handled them pretty well. So I think offensively they're finding their groove. And I think it's going to be a lot closer of a game, and the Raiders need to go over there ready to play and focus to get a good win.
I agree with you there, Dirty. I think that's going to be a really good basketball game. But let's talk a minute about another big game. Anna and Fort Loramie girls. You know, the last two times these two teams got together, it was opening night of opening night of Ohio high school basketball, actually. And Fort Loramie pretty much thumped them. Do you see the same thing coming again this time, or do the Lady Rockets have a better chance this time around?
I think they definitely have a better chance, considering that even with a freshman at point guard, Ella Dosek, I think maybe she had a little nervous, maybe a little inexperienced, but with the senior leadership of Hewell's Camp on that team, I think that might have helped her out a little bit. And I think the team's really starting to gel, especially with a new coach starting out the season. It might have been a little bumpy, but going into Fort Loramie, it's definitely going to be a different game, and the Rockets are definitely going to keep it close this time.
I think that the Fort Loramie Anna game will be one of the best girls' games in the state of Ohio on Thursday. But I think Loramie, after coming off after that, they didn't really play well in beating Russia. They shot around 15% from the field, but they compromised with some real good defense. Carla Siegel's got her young guns playing really well. They're a very youthful team, as I just mentioned, and I think they're going to pull out with about a 15-point victory here at home. I think they're going to cruise on and go maybe 12-0, 11-1, but I don't think Anna's going to go in the league, but I don't think Anna's going to go down without a fighting chance. Anna, if they want to at least have a share of the league, they got to win this game. So Anna's going to give them their best shot in this game.
Speaking of the Shelby County League, Kobe, why don't you review the standings a little bit for us right now as they sit? We're not going to be able to show him to him on the screen tonight, but what kind of league standings have we got right now, Kobe?
Yeah, as I mentioned, we have Fort Laramie at the top right now with 6-0. Russia is 5-1. Anna is sitting right behind at 4-2. Botkins is at 2-4. Jackson's at 2-4. Houston at 2-4, and Fairlawn is an 0-6 after one round of league play. So there's still a lot of time for the rest of the field to catch up with Fort Laramie.
Well, that's good stuff right there. You got anything else back there, Kearns, on girls basketball this week?
Not that I can think of. Go Raiders for tomorrow, and it'll for sure be a barn burner at Laramie with the Rockets and the Redskins facing off.
Well, I agree with you there. So, Kobe, before we go to commercial here, let's talk a little bit about boys basketball. And I want to talk a little bit about probably the biggest game in the state of Ohio last night. You were there. I was there. There was a lot of people there. And that was Fort Laramie Redskins, the number one team in the state in Division 4, taking on the Versailles Tigers. I think they were ranked, Division 3 in Division 3. So you were at the game. What did you think of the game? And obviously it was a great basketball game.
Well, what I have to take away from that game is that Laramie definitely deserves their number one ranking as the best team in Division 4 right now. They played some very stifling defense against Justin Arns, the Ohio State commit. They didn't let him get anything off clean last night. Evan Burning, he didn't have a very good offensive game, but he really made up for it with his defensive game on Justin Arns. Did not let him get any clean open shots. But what kept Versailles in the game was the playing of Justin's brother, AJ. You don't hear much about AJ. You hear mostly about Justin. But AJ had 21 points last night, picked up a lot of the slack that the Tigers left on the court, and the Redskins capitalized on some mental errors by the Tigers getting that technical foul, calling that timeout. And the Redskins, the luck ball rolled their way, and they got the win, and they full out deserved it.
Yes, I agree, Kobe. It was a great basketball game. You mentioned Evan Burning. He struggled all night on the offensive end of the floor, but obviously hit the biggest shot of the night, the three-pointer in overtime that actually tied it at the time. But like you said, did a phenomenal job guarding Justin Arns throughout the whole basketball game. But there was two big plays in that game, Kobe, I would like to share with you that I felt were probably the biggest plays of the game. Obviously, the Burning three, the two foul shots by Braun. But the first one was when Nick Brandaway picked Justin's pocket clean, dribbled the length of the floor with Justin right on his tail, and did a nice left-handed reverse layup. Just showcased the Ohio State commit. Nick's just a sophomore and did a phenomenal job out there. And he ran. It was a huge play at the time in the game. And also right towards the end of regulation, when AJ Arns got the steal, missed the layup, Justin went to follow it up, and Tyler Siegel, out of nowhere, just swatted it. It was a huge block, sent the game into overtime, and set up for the dramatic finish.
Yeah, Nick Brandaway, just a sophomore, but he played real fearlessly, and that's what I think you need in big games, is to play fearlessly, especially from someone like a sophomore like Brandaway. He knows Justin Arns, the Ohio State commit, coming down one-on-one against him, did that double clutch reversal layup and scored on him, and Tyler Siegel making that play. A lot of players would give up on that play. I kind of equivalent that block to LeBron's block on Iguodala in the finals, and nine out of 10 players might have gave up on that play, but Siegel was that one player, and that block ultimately helped him get that win in overtime.
Absolutely, because I tell you, Justin had a 4-footer from point blank range that most likely would have won the game for the Tigers, but out of nowhere came Tyler Siegel, swatted it off the bankboard. The rest was history. So that's all we've got for the first part of our show. We're going to go out for a commercial break. When we come back, we're going to talk a little bit more boys basketball, including that big interview with Anna superstar Wyatt Bensman.
My father said it's time to be home, man, but don't go and tall in the motherland. If you were born with heart, raised on pride, this vinegar runs through your bloodline.
Welcome, everyone, back to our edition of Fish Report Live Sports Talk. We're going to continue our discussion tonight on Shelby County League boys basketball. We touched base on the big game that we had last night over in Versailles with Fort Loramie's victory over the Tigers. Now we're going to talk some more Shelby County Athletic League boys basketball. And to review the standings, we're going to start out by going to Kobe. Kobe, you want to review the current standings for me?
Well, the current standings, Laramie stands on top at 5-0. They haven't played a full round of SDL yet without playing Anna twice yet. Rushie's at 5-1, just right behind them, and so's Anna at 4-1. Jackson is 500 at 3-3. Botkins is 2-4. Fairlawn 1-5, and Houston is at 0-6.
Well, Kobe, let me ask you. Fort Loramie at 5-0 in the league. I think they're 11-0 overall. What do you feel about Corey Britton and Coach Britton in the Fort Loramie Redskins? Do you feel they're unbeatable this year, or what's your thoughts on this hot Fort Loramie Redskin basketball team?
Well, I'm not going to say that they're unbeatable. They're definitely beatable, but they've played obviously the best basketball in the area. I think any team so far. Their offense is designed to run around Tyler Siegel, Dylan Braun, and Evan Burning, and all three of those guys fluctuate very well in that offense. And they're a very talented team, and they use the skills that they have to their advantage. But I think the second round of SAL is going to be a big challenge for them. They have to go to Claire Seton Nouveau Gymnasium, and they have to go to the Launchpad in Anna, which I think is is probably the two toughest places to play at in Shelby County. Mm-hmm. So I think that Laramie's going to have a tough time trying to get out of there with 2 wins. I definitely think they can do it, but I think it's unlikely that they'll go 12-0. There hasn't been a 12-0 Shelby County League winner since maybe 2012 Jackson Center when they went to state.
Well, Kobe, I have to agree with you. They got 3 really tough league games left. Like you mentioned, going to Rushi, and they got Anna twice. And it's going to be real interesting this Friday night. The Anna Rockets actually traveled to Fort Loramie, and we're going to see that's going to be a great basketball game there. And it's really going to be an exciting one to watch. And who the star of the Anna Rockets, Kobe, is going to be with us tonight, isn't he?
Yeah, Wyatt Bensman is the star of the Anna Rockets. And we are happy to have him live on the phone right now. Wyatt, welcome to Fish Report.
Thanks for having me.
Hi, Wyatt. Welcome to the show tonight. You got your Anna Rockets. Congratulations. You guys are off to a great start. You're sitting at 9-2 currently in overall. And you had a big victory over Marion Local on Saturday night. Realize that was a non-league game, but what did that victory over a good Marion Local Flyer team do for the Anna Rockets and your confidence over there?
Well, it definitely is a confidence builder because that team is very big. They're a great team, and they're well experienced, as they nearly made it to state last year. I mean, they have 2 big guys, as in Bruns and Mesher, in the middle, who are very, very well-rounded, and I thought we did a great job against them.
Wyatt, let's talk a little bit about the Shelby County League. You're sitting at 5-1 right now. You lost on the road to a very good Rushi basketball team. You've got 2 games left with Fort Loramie yet. You've got 1 game left with Rushi. But your most important game is the next one on your schedule for now, and that's Friday night when you travel to Fort Loramie. We've seen Fort Loramie play. I've seen them play twice, actually. I've seen them play against Rushi, obviously. Saw them last night against Versailles. Fort Loramie is a very talented team with a lot of weapons. In the Rockets, you guys really like to get the ball out and run with it. You're a high-scoring, very powerful offensive basketball team. Fort Loramie is a very defensive-oriented team. What's it going to take for the Anna Rockets to go into Fort Loramie and get a victory?
Well, yeah, they're a clearly talented team. I think we just need to be the more fundamental team and take good shots when we have good shots. I noticed, like Versailles, I thought they rushed their offense a little too much. I mean, I think we just need to settle for the best shot.
Hi, Wyatt. This is Brandon Coberman filling in tonight for Craig. Now, if you're like me, a high school senior, you have a lot of friends from Shelby County. So sometimes you'll get involved in a little trash talk. So how do you handle the trash talk on the floor?
Well, most of the time, you just shrug it off. Like, sometimes I'm just in the game so much that you don't even pay attention to it. Or sometimes if you hear something, you just got to smile about it and just forget about it. It's nothing really. It's just people just trying to get into your head.
After I saw you play in December, I came out on Twitter and said you were the best player in Shelby County, and I thought that you deserve to be nominated as the SCL Player of the Year at the end of this season. Now, what do you do in the off season? I know you're a football player, but what do you do in the off season to work on your skills? Do you play AAU or anything like that?
Yeah, I played AAU with a team towards Arcanum, filled with like Marion kids, Franklin Monroe kids, some Port Recovery kids. We went to some big tournaments, and the AAU circuit put me in a lot of tough situations to like increase my game.
Wyatt, hi. This is Ken again. We've seen the Rockets play. I've seen Fort Loramie play twice now. Went to the game last night and watched Fort Loramie and Versailles play. Did the outcome of that game surprise you? Not necessarily that Fort Loramie won, but did it surprise you in the fact that it was such a low-scoring basketball game?
Yeah, to a certain point it did, but you got to understand maybe the tempo of the game. It's hard to tell. With like each team's different. Like us with Versailles is more of an up-tempo game, but I think Loramie likes to slow it down more and look for the better shot.
Well, they definitely took advantage of that. Being very patient on offense, controlling the tempo of the game from the outset, and obviously worked to their advantage as the game went on.
Hey, Wyatt, this is Brandon again. Now, a lot of people, when they think of Anna basketball this year, they think of you, obviously. But who else on your team has been big contributors to your team this year?
Well, we have 8 guys, or 8 guys including myself. We have Griffin Dosek, Drew Schmitz, Riley Hulskamp, Mason Plattfoot, Joel Cathcart, Austin Foe, and Bart Bixler. And I feel like everybody does their part in contributing to our team. Everybody plays within themselves, and I think that's why we're doing so well this year. And our chemistry this year has been the best it's ever been since I've been in high school, by far.
All right, Wyatt, if you're like me, we're both high school seniors here, and I already got my college plans mostly decided, and I wanted to know if you had any college plans decided for next year.
No, I'm not I haven't really decided yet whether or not I want to continue to play basketball or not somewhere, or if I just want to go to a bigger college and just do my education. I want to be a physical therapist, so whatever college is going to offer me that, I'll consider it.
Wyatt, hi, this is Ken again. We got one more and last question for you. And, one of the Anna Rocket biggest fans over there is a gentleman by the name of Craig Stiffel. Unfortunately, Craig's not able to attend the games to watch you guys play right now, but he's a little bit under the weather. But how does Craig's enthusiasm for Rocket basketball, lift the Anna Rockets and keep you guys pumped up?
Well, I was pretty close with Craig, but the whole situation is just a tragedy. But the next day, he texted me and was completely okay, and just kept telling me to keep playing well and don't worry about him. And I mean, that speaks a lot from somebody who just had a seizure and is telling a kid to go worry about just basketball and not worry about him. And after his surgery, I know his wife Nancy is texting me what Craig's saying, and that's just so cool to have him do that. It means a lot.
Well, that's great stuff, Wyatt. And Craig, if you're listening to us out there, good luck to you on your recovery as well. And Wyatt, you've had a phenomenal season so far. The Anna Rockets, you guys are a fun team to watch. You're electrifying on the offensive end of the floor. Good luck the rest of the season. Good luck Friday night. And we'll keep a good eye on you guys the rest of the season. And wish you the best of luck.
All right, thank you.
Thanks for being on our show with us. Thanks for being on our show, Wyatt.
All right, bye.
Well, that was the star of the Anna Rockets, Wyatt Bensman, and pretty good interview there. He's got a big game on Friday to focus on, so he's got a lot on his mind right now with the Loramie game. I'm sure they want to get back at Loramie for beating them last year twice.
Absolutely. And when you look at the Shelby County League standings, Kobe, there's no way the Anna Rockets can afford another loss in the Shelby County League standings. They already sit one game behind Fort Loramie in the loss column. They can really ill afford to fall 2 games behind the Redskins in the loss column with only half the season to go. So I look for an exciting game over there at Fort Loramie Friday night. Honestly, it's going to be a tough match. I think the Rockets are a better team at home. But we'll see if they can carry any momentum from that big Marion local win over to Fort Laramie on Friday night and see if they can, use that to their advantage.
Yeah, I think the Anna student section might be an X factor here because they can bring the launch pad can bring their student section to Laramie's gym. That can really be an X factor. They have one of the best student sections in the area, no doubt.
There definitely could be some good chants going back and forth between them two student sections right there.
Yes, there could be.
I remember when you go over to Anna to play too. A lot of times you've got Ronnie Rocket guarding you in the corner when you're attempting to shoot that deep three there over by the student section. So you got to keep Ronnie Rocket off the court.
I know when I played, he fouled me a time or two.
Well, that's good stuff. You got anything else for us on boys basketball, Covey, before we go back to the sound room and talk to TK and Heavy D to see what they've got going on in the wild world of sports?
Not much really. I think this is shaping up to be a really good race in the SCL and most Division 4 and Division 3, but I'm looking forward to, after Saturday, attending the Xavier Creighton game, going down to Flying to the Hoop this weekend, gone there in the past 3 years. And I'm really looking forward to seeing some of the nation's best prep players next weekend. That's
a great thing to bring up, and I'm glad you brought that up, Covey. A lot of local teams, Minster, Fort Laramie, Versailles, Sydney, all playing and flying to the hoop this year. Going to be some exciting basketball. And, Fort Laramie's had a really busy week, Covey. They had Versailles last night. They've got Anna Friday night. They've got flying to the hoop on I don't know when, Sunday, Monday, someday. And so, a lot going on there for Fort Laramie. So, you're sandwiching in that Anna game in the middle of a big Versailles game and a flying to the hoop game, possible letdown for the Redskins Friday night?
There could be, but I think Anna's greater chance is obviously going to beat Laramie is going to be in Anna. I think Laramie will take the game Friday. It's going to be probably within 5 points. I think I'll set the line at about 4.5 for Laramie here, with being at home mostly. And now we're going to take it to TK and Heavy D in the sound room. How you guys doing?
Hey, guys.
Hey, good evening. A lot of fun tonight with Wyatt Bensman. It's a fun kid to watch and a good kid to talk to.
He does. He's very difficult to get in his head. You yell at him from the stands, and he just turns around with his hands on his hips, and he just smiles at you. It's like he's got a job to do, and it's not listening to the banter from the crowd. I can relate pretty closely between myself and a lot of the guys on that Fort Laramie team. I used to play basketball back in the day, TK, and I wasn't a good shooter. Couldn't jump very high, and I wasn't very quick, but I did have the same haircut as some of those guys out there. So I got that little bit of connection there. They wear it well. It's fun to watch those guys play. Not a lot of flash, not a lot of showy cockiness out of there by the Laramie guys, just playing good, hard basketball, and it's fun to watch.
Yeah, another thing I want to touch on. This week came out the first basketball poll, the AP Writers Poll, and just wanted to mention that really it doesn't matter. I guess unless you're recruiting, and that's not supposed to happen. So what if you're on there? It doesn't really matter in that case. And beyond that, it's rarely even right. We got Minster's in there, and Fort Laramie number one. We talked about that. Fort Laramie obviously deserves that. Minster playing well, good team. They deserve that. But I can name about 3 or 4 other teams in West Central Ohio that should be at least mentioned, and they're nowhere in those lists of D3 and D4 teams. So whoever's looking at these teams and picking them up and putting them down on a piece of paper, I'm not sure they're actually watching them play. There's teams that have 50-50 records that are getting mentioned that they should be in the top 10 in the state. So yeah, it's fun to look at. We look at it every once in a while, but I'm still kind of trying to figure out why we even do it, because it doesn't really mean anything.
Well, you're right there, TK. I'll take a Shelby County League school and a MAC school pretty much just about any day versus a lot of those top 10 teams in the state of Ohio. So that's good stuff back there from the sound room, guys. Appreciate the feedback. Before we close it out tonight, Covey, let's get back to our poll question and see what our listeners are voting on tonight. But which of these 4 Shelby County League boys basketball players do you feel is the first half season player of the year? Is it Wyatt Bensman from Anna, Dylan Braun from Fort Laramie, Jack Dayport at Russia, or Tyler Siegel from Fort Laramie? TK, what do the telemetrics have to say to us back here?
Well, the telemetrics say that a lot of people agree with Covey. 95% are picking Wyatt Bensman as the SCAL player, at least of the first half. And I got to say, he'll probably be the player of the year if he just keeps up like he is now, because he's, again, as we said before, having a wonderful year, a great athlete. got a lot of accolades as a football player in the MAC and what they do over there, and then just keeps carrying it right into his basketball. And I don't see anything slowing him down the rest of the season.
Yeah, I'm sure all 4 of those players are going to be somewhere on the first and or second team. Probably all the first team. I'd definitely vote for all 4 of them on the first team. But they're all 4 skilled in their own special way. All 4 can score, play defense, and have all the intangibles.
I agree with that as well, Covey. So, listen, that's going to wrap it up for us tonight. From Fish Report Live, we'd like to thank our special guest tonight, Wyatt Bensman, for being on our show with us tonight. And we'd like to appreciate all the viewers out there. Covey, I appreciate you filling in for Craig all night. And the rest of our crew will be back again next week along with Craig. Same time, same place. Until then, have a great rest of the week and good night, everyone.
Hanging at the fish report. 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 For your latest news in high school sports, tune in to the fish report. Don't need no bed, don't need no pole. When you tune in to the fish report. Hanging at the fish report.